Hello and welcome to the PC Gaming Vortex. Once again, my name is Hikaro, and I am joined by DarkRelic playing as Fate. And I'm also joined by a newcomer, one of our friends, goes by Gallows. He's going to be joining us for this episode, and you'll probably see him in the future also. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a special bonus episode covering flashpoints in Old Republic. The idea of flashpoints is very similar to instances in dungeons and other games, but very story-driven. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the second one in the game, which is around level 14, 15-ish. It's called Hammer Station. We're a little high for this, especially Fate, which is twice the level for this. But we should be able to show how it works. We're also going to be going through the roles and different roles when you're playing through, the idea of the tank, the healer, the DPS, and if you're in one of those roles, what's expected of you, and the base ideals behind the roles, so that if you're new to MMOs, you'll know exactly what's expected of you based off of the role you chose your character to be. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. So Hammer Station starts right over here, and let's get this going.
Republic Emergency Response Corps Secure Hollow Frequency Polaris. The crisis on the Outer Rim requires immediate intervention. The adversary hegemony have obtained a Republic battle station and are using it for acts of aggressive expansion, conquering entire star systems.
I've never heard of this group. What are they after?
They're a xenophobic political faction seeking to expand. Until now, they've been a containable threat. During the last war, Republic scientists developed a mobile battle station codenamed Hammer. It bombarded planetary surfaces using asteroids as weapons. Hammer Station was indiscriminately destructive. The project was cancelled and its prototype ordered destroyed. We don't know how the adversary hegemony now possesses it.
We'll solve that mystery later. The point is, that station could level whole cities.
The planet's scheme resisted the hegemony's demands to surrender. Hammer Station reduced its capital city to ashes 2 hours ago. A direct fleet assault would be suicide. Shields are useless against asteroid strikes. The station can target and destroy large vessels easily. But an assault shuttle could evade the asteroids and deliver a commando team to destroy Hammer Station from the inside. We just need volunteers.
And what happens to that commando team when the station blows up? Posthumous medals?
Overloading Hammer Station's primary weapon will take time. The boarding party can flee before its detonation. Destroying the station is your main objective, but we need to know how the hegemony obtained it. Any data you recover could prove useful. Hammer Station has just entered orbit above Salukami and demanded its surrender. Your assault shuttle is standing by. May the Force be with you.
So something I'd like to note on really quickly that I just noticed is we are actually going through with 3 people. Normally you would do flashpoints with 4. But Fate, DarkRelic over there being 34 pretty much counts as 2 people, so we're not too worried about it. Normally you would get at least 1 healer, at least 1 tank, and you would get 2 DPSs to fill this out. But we're just going to use a companion to fill that last spot for DPS, and we're just going to go with it. It shouldn't be a problem. Once you do the conversation, you just jump through the glowing wall behind, and you are warped right in.
Also, their shields can't repel asteroids of those magnitudes. I've been sitting on that one for a while.
Sounded like you had that one.
Sat on it longer.
Also, for anybody new to our series here or our channel, we are on the Juyo server, Juyo, on Republic side, and we do have a guild formed for anybody that would like to play with us, get together and have some people to play with. It's called the Force Vortex, and anybody is welcome to join. There is a video on the channel explaining how to get in and who to message and things like that. Just take a look at that. Okay, so let's get this started. So I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to let DarkRelic tank this one.
I think I could swing that.
Hey,
yeah.
Just FYI, I'm just gonna heal this one, so you guys can do the DPS, and I'm gonna work on just healing and see how it goes.
Sounds good to me. So the idea here is that we have a tank. The tank is the person that's trying to keep the attention of the mob. He's the one, or she's the one in this case, I guess, with DarkRelic, that is taking all the damage. The idea is to keep all focus on them so that the other squishier characters aren't taking damage. They're usually someone that can take damage better. Then there's a healer, which is pretty obvious. They're the healer. They're the ones that stand back to make sure everybody stays alive, focusing on the tank because they're taking the most damage. And DPS is just damage per second. Those are the guys that are doing as much damage as they possibly can to ensure that the stuff goes down quick enough to move on. But the idea is, once you know your role, you want to stick to that role. So if you're the tank, your main objective should be making sure that those guys stay on you and do not attack the healer, for example. If you're the healer, you should be focusing on healing if someone is taking damage. Now, if no one's taking damage, you can attack. But you always want to make sure that your main objective is your main objective. Looks like it desummoned all of our companions. I guess we can't have a companion in here. I tried to resummon mine and it failed, so... We should be fine.
Yay, T7!
There's someone a droid. So I guess it was just my companion that couldn't come out. I guess game's just got something against Trandoshans.
Well, who doesn't really?
Hey, Kaizen's cool.
You actually have to be really careful when you're running around with him. You get salmonella.
Oh, jeez. That's horrible. You're already on a roll. Okay, so normally, if you have someone that has the salvaging ability, you can come in here and activate this drill. By activating this drill, it drills out this wall, giving you a shortcut straight to the first boss. Normally we have Dr. Hadron's, which is from our City of Heroes series, that has it, that gets us through here pretty easily, but none of the three of us have it, so we're going to go ahead and go the long way. Nice shortcut to know, though. Okay, so for people that might be new to this, this is a need and greed window. The idea behind this is a loot that is green or above, so uncommon or above. This is giving everybody an opportunity to put claim on this. If this is an upgrade for you, something you're about to put on, you would roll need. That means you need this item, you're going to use it. If this is not an upgrade, if this is just something you want to sell or something you think would be neat to have, you hit greed. If this is something that can be disassembled by someone in the group, a third option called disassemble will come up. And if you do choose that and then win, it will actually allow you to get the pieces that you would get for crafting from it. I rolled need on that because that's actually one willpower higher, which is good for me. And I am going to put it on. I cannot equip while in combat. That makes sense. I guess I shouldn't be changing my pants while we're fighting things.
Maybe not, but it's funny.
There we go. My pants have been changed.
Not a whole lot of healing needed here.
Not with the wrecking ball over there. There we go. Actually, I haven't come this way before. We've always taken the shortcut. This is actually quite a bit longer.
It's actually not a wrecking ball, it's an interrogation droid.
Nice. Looks like a wrecking ball. And there's the boss.
It's because somebody's a little dark side.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is Bangalore Prasad. Our jealous rivals would destroy our great weapon. But today, the Adverse hegemony earns its place in the galaxy.
Now, something I will say, normally when you're in instances like this, you always want to let the tank go first. The only reason I'm running ahead and fighting stuff without the tank is because we're a bit high level for here and it's not really a threat. But always let the tank go first. That way they can get aggro off the mob, they can start taking damage so that you don't die or take too much damage and cause any problems. Okay, this boss fight is pretty straightforward. It's just a tank and spank. The tank gets on it, the healer keeps a focus, and then everybody just beats the you-know-what out of it. As you go through, you'll see that he's going to, I believe he has AoEs on the ground, you just want to stay out of him. Anything else you want to add there, Dark? Other than jump in?
Die. Yeah, he has a channeled damage output that you can use some abilities to interrupt. That comes in handy.
Oh yeah, the
So
laser
a few
thing.
ads. And the nice thing about it, at least with the Jedi Knights, as far as they go, our interrupt is a force kick that you can use in between refreshing on all your regular abilities.
When you're doing this fight at normal level, it's always good to have someone assigned to the ads. Usually a DPS running around and taking the ads out as quickly as possible, just to lower the amount of damage coming at the tank.
And this is something I had mentioned with one of the earlier episodes. The light that's coming down on him, see how it's a darker color of blue? It's because of the loot that he has. He has a higher than average loot table for drops.
Right. Now, you'll notice this is medium armor. That means I cannot use it as red, so I would not need this item under any circumstances. Now, with this item, it's also a bind-on pickup, which you'll see at the top right underneath the name. That means the second this goes in my inventory, it's locked. I can't give it to anybody, I can't put it on the auction house. So unless I want to sell this to a vendor, there's really no reason to worry about this item. So in this case, I'm going to click disassemble, which would give me the components for it, which I got. It gives me the SWTOR crystals. These are used by synth weavers to make armor. So, good crafting materials from that.
One thing I would add to that, that there are certain circumstances where you get into a situation like in this one where none of us actually need the item. Double check what your companion uses, because I know for the knights that personally, my little droid isn't going to put on pants. But some companions, it would still be a really nice upgrade for them.
Very much so. If it was heavy armor,
yeah, if nobody else needs it,
I would have asked to roll. Now, the good thing to do is always default to ask. If you're not going to put it on your guy, make sure no one else on the party needs it for their character before you roll need for a companion.
Exactly.
It's always the polite thing to do. But it never hurts to ask. I mean, if someone needs it, they'll tell you. But you never know. They might say, yeah, go ahead and roll, and you might end up with a really nice, dark blue or an orange on your companion, which is good stuff.
Especially when it comes to the oranges, because you can always swap out the mods and stuff on that, which makes it easier to keep your companions and your own gear really up to date.
Yeah, very much so.
And effectively works as an appearance slot for the game, too.
Right. Yeah, we just discovered that, actually, that it raises the base stat of it when you add in modifications to those items. So you can effectively use the same item the entire game if you like the way it looks.
Yeah, because there are a few things that are really, really sharp looking, but others not so much. Oh, and right behind these guys, notice the red arrows there pointing at the pipe.
Yeah, if you strike that twice, once to break it and then once to ignite it, it will light on fire and catch the guys in its grasp. Which is good.
Because fire is good.
Fire is very good.
Any bounty hunter will tell you that.
Unless you're standing in it, that's bad.
Well, yeah, that
Any
is
any
bad.
raid leader will tell you that. This is normally a much slower process, by the way. We are kind
big time.
of walking through this heavily, but normally these are pretty beefy fights. Even the normal mobs that aren't bosses are still pretty beefy fights, or lieutenants and epics, so they're definitely good stuff.
You want to fire off that coolant tank there?
I'll lift him.
I don't even know how you fire it off. I don't have any range attacks.
Oh, right-click on it. You can force using your force abilities.
That is so cool. See, we all learn something new every day. I always thought you had to shoot it.
You can, if you have a gun.
Now that coolant tank, if you noticed, actually froze this guy. He was stuck in place. He was unable to attack at all, which, you know, effectively split the group in two, making it easier to take him on slower. So it's always good to watch out for those barrels and those traps. They're very useful.
Definitely, they really help things along. And a nice little thing to keep an eye out for. If you go under the stairs over here, pretty much every one of the flashpoints, at least from my experience, has a few of the security chests here hidden throughout.
Very cool. A couple extra items.
A little bit extra credits, some extra items, yeah.
Well, you look at that. We were just talking about that. Looks like we're going to need off against that one there, Gallows. That's for Kaizen.
Oh, doesn't that figure?
See, that's an item that neither one of us can use, but our companion can. Oh, grats. Now he's got a better sword.
Gallows needed it more.
Apparently so. That's okay. My guy's awesome enough to counteract.
Roughly 61 more.
Jeez. Nope, I didn't hit him.
And the really nice thing about those barrels and the pipes and stuff, that even if there's not a mob that's right there next to it, they're just really fun to blow up on their own.
They are quite entertaining, aren't they? Wow. That was random. None of us
see
can
that too
use it, but just to blew off a normal mob is pretty random.
They don't even know what's coming.
You're all on fire!
It's like old school NBA Jam days. He's on fire!
Jeez, obscure reference there.
That was my favorite game back in the day.
Oh, is it Boom Shakalaka? Boom Shakalaka! There we go. Kind of feel sorry for these droids. They stand like no chance. And also keep in mind, whenever you pick up credits when you're in a group, it does split the credits between the groups, so you don't have to worry about who loots and things like that. As long as it gets looted, that's all that matters.
Hey, Hikaro, one thing you might want to cover here too is like some of the control abilities to where we can actually take people out of the fight when some of those groups are tougher.
That's a very good point. A good example of that, of course, was the barrel we had saw earlier that froze some people. But people actually have abilities that allow that, crowd control abilities. For example, myself and Gallows both have something called Force Lift. What that does is it actually lifts the target into the air for 8 seconds, making it so that they can't really do anything in the fight. What that effectively does is splits them away from the fight, so you're fighting less people at one time, getting the damage output down, making it easier to handle. There are multiple things like that. There's a whirlwind ability that you can get. Depending on your class, you might have these abilities in your arsenal. And the crowd control abilities are very important later on. You might be looking at a fight of 5 lieutenants and an epic guy, and you're just like, that's too much, we can't take that. But if you're able to remove 2 of the lieutenants, all of a sudden the fight becomes manageable. So crowd control is a very important thing, and if you do have that, do look for opportunities to use that to help out your group.
This is a very, very good example of that. Many times I've run through this place. I know, like not necessarily on this character, but on Sith's side, on my Inquisitor, they have an ability that will throw them up in the air basically for 30 seconds, and taking out one of the regular Gold Star champions, the boss. We always used to do the one on the left, Torch. He's out of the fight for the first 30 seconds. We can typically, get the first one down, and halfway through, the main boss there, through Vorgan, and before he unfreezes. So it really makes the fights much easier and much more doable, especially if you're a little weak on heals or something, or on DPS.
It could definitely tilt the balance in your favor without question. Do we want to start on Sawbones Gajorfs?
Oh yeah, Sawbones is going down.
Let's get him.
Three, two, one, charge.
So that's a good example. So he was up in the air when I ran over there. So he was taken care of. So in that battle, it's pretty simple. You fight the 2 ads, and then you go for the boss being Vorgan the Volcano. Crowd controlling one of the ads if possible. Medium armor. Too bad Dr. Hadrons didn't join us. He would enjoy all this medium armor.
No kidding. Also, a really good thing to cover for this spot. I'm not sure if we've mentioned it before or not, but when you're at these decisions where it's a light side or a dark side choice, just because the group goes one way doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get stuck with that choice.
Yeah,
So if you're
so
light side and that somebody chooses dark side, you're still going to
exactly.
get your light side points.
So see, for example, here, one of the light side choices, myself or Gallows, won the roll. I did, I believe. But Dark Relic Fate actually chose Dark Side because his character is Dark Side. He still received his Dark Side points for that. It's just the instance the Flashpoint's going to reflect our choice because we won the roll. So your character still progresses the way you want it to, even if you lose the roll. But you don't have to worry about changing the effect of the outcome.
Even though it's much more fun to kill everybody.
Says you, right, red lightsaber person.
Red lightsabers are where it's at.
Double greens. Double greens.
Double green all the way.
Wow. Health got a little low there. The lack of ability to take away the Control A turning off your ambient sounds is something they need to fix in this game very badly. My sounds have completely disabled. Can't say I'm sure why. Can you guys still hear me?
And
Okay,
make
good.
sure
Yep.
for this particular spot, don't dawdle.
If you watch this bridge, it starts off blue, and it's going to go red, and then it's going to go danger. I mean, it's kind of cool to get hit in the face with a giant asteroid, but probably not too good for prolonged life.
And also
One more
tucked
chest
right
down
over
here.
here in the corner is the other chest for this
Yep.
particular one.
Heavy armor. And this is the final boss for this one. This boss is a little trickier. Once again, it's not going to be too incredibly tricky with Fate here, with DarkRelic. But the idea behind this boss is he's going to lay down AoEs, and there's going to be ads. You want to have somebody designated to take out the ads, which I will do this time. And you want to make sure you stand out of the AoE. So if there's a giant circle on the ground, you should not be standing there. That's a good rule of thumb pretty much on any time. But they'll start to appear faster and faster. And you just want to make sure that you keep out of those circles. You have a few seconds to get out, and you want to take that few seconds. Other than that, it's just, tank and spank.
Also, one really big thing with this guy in particular, he does have a knockback, and he would love nothing more than to knock you into the the path of the asteroids there behind him. So try not to stand on that side.
Yeah. It's very unlucky when you get hit and fly into the asteroid field, or the asteroid launcher. You can see the first AoE over there in the corner. Here's one here.
Got ads.
That normally takes a lot longer. Oh, nice. It's a single-sided. Probably an upgrade for you there, Gallows, the lightsaber.
Definitely.
Very cool. Quite the successful run, I must say.
Definitely.
Now we gotta get out.
Run, you fools, run!
Run! Fly! Before we all die.
One really nice thing about this too, if you're paying attention to what your responses are, if you happen to be, rather cheap like me, this is going back and farming the lower level ones will help you build up your affection with your companions as well, on top of giving you light side or dark side points.
Which is good.
One thing I noticed there too is that it seems like there was a token on the end boss there, so make sure everyone, I guess, picked that up even when the loot was going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Taurus commendations.
Yeah, it's always good to pick up the commendations. They're good to get great gear. Plus, it won't roll off against it because everybody gets one, so you do have to loot that off the guy if there is one available. So always watch for those beams of light and make sure you get in on those. Now, there's a difference between some of us doing this quest right now. I don't actually have the quest to do this quest. So this specific Flashpoint has a quest associated if you're within the level range. And I do not have that quest right now. If I did, as we came out, we would be able to talk at that kiosk again. And it would continue the storyline. I don't believe we're going to be able to do that. Do you have the option to do that? You do.
Yeah, I think mine does.
I'll join in. My sound is still off. Yeah, the sound getting turned off is a very frustrating side effect of having your push to talk button be control. Only in this game, though. And that's all there is to it. That is Hammer Station, the second Flashpoint. It's also a good overview of the roles in each group and the idea of a tank, a healer, crowd control, DPS, etc. What you should be doing in a group environment with other players. How the need and greed role system along with disassembling works. And some tips along the way for that specific instance in boss fights. If there's any questions or any suggestions on what you'd like to see next, of course, leave it down in the comments below or on our Facebook, and we will ensure that we get those answered and take those requests under consideration. Don't forget that we do have a guild on the Juyo server on Republic side called Force Vortex, and it is open recruitment. So if you'd like to join us and play with us or just create a character on the server to say hi, feel free to do so, and just grab someone in the guild and they will send you an invite. Okay, we will see you guys next time.